released information on an array of shady cyber tactics from groups linked to Russia and Belarus. Joining me now, CNN correspondent Donny O'Sullivan. Donny, what have you learned here?
Yeah, so John, a lot of people are wondering, where are we going to see this big cyber attack from Russia? We've heard a lot about, attacks along the way, but a big major attack. What we are learning from Facebook today is all this stuff.
And we are live. I'm David Bowles, and this is Bowles.tv, BOLES.tv. Love my new shirt. Old shirt. Nebraska needs journalists all the way. And they really don't anymore. Maybe the major newspapers in Nebraska pretty much gone belly up. They just republish AP reports. They don't do any local reporting. So the Free Water Press is trying to change that and make it all right in Nebraska and bring back some cogency and some relativity that makes a difference to the citizens of the great state of Nebraska. So as you can see, we have our Discord server. Our chat is live and happening right now. I always go the wrong way. Here we go. And this is our other thing, our other Discord thing over here, which is our Discord actual server. So I'll give you the address if you're interested in that. And what this means is you can join our server and you can talk about NFTs and talk about writing. And you can also join our voice channel, where you can join in and chat with me live as we are streaming. And you can also join our text channel for a live chat, where everything you're seeing is being recorded and transcribed. And we used to have a big, I'll show you what it is. I'm trying to think if I should show this or not. Where is it? The text chat. This is what it's looked like all week. We've had that there. As you can see, when it's not live, it behaves. It says Scriptly and then my name, and then it changes to object. Now, Scriptly believes that is a problem with the Discord overlay. And I don't know anybody at Discord. I don't even know how to report something like this. I don't know if anybody even cares. So, while we're testing this, I'm just going to put this live text chat on our intermission screen. And if you want captions, live captions, you can get them by clicking on the CC button on this live stream. And after the fact, if you want to know what happened, you can go to our text channel and read the text that everything that I'm saying is being recorded there. So you can go back and read it later and catch up about what's happening and what's going on. And if you want access to the voice channel and the text channel for the live stream, I have been warned that I need to approve people and put them in there myself. I just can't allow anyone to join, because then you get haters and I guess hate raids and people showing up trying to give you a hard time and cursing and saying bad words, and it becomes a big problem. So that we're not interested in. No hate people, thank you. But it does add a step to the process of joining the server and then me approving you and you getting put in. But it's not really that big a deal. You just let me know and I'll take care of it for you. And we are live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. It's another yucky day in the New York City area. Rain all day yesterday, rain today. Cloudy skies, no sun at all. Which makes it a little bit difficult when you're trying to put things together and make things look good. Oh, I don't like that light behind me over here. I'm going to go fix that. I'll leave the mic on. Turning this on so all the magic is holding true. Back in a moment. Oy. I think I fixed it. We'll find out. This is part of the perils of going live. You never know what you're going to see or what you're not going to see. Now we'll see if the light looks a little bit better, if it's not quite so bright. Oh, that's so much better. It looked good when we started, and then something happened, and I don't know what happened. And what I love about this voice chat thing is whenever I speak, or whenever anyone speaks, there's a green circle around their avatar saying that is the active speaker. It's kind of cool. So if you get more people here and more people chatting, it becomes a thing. a wild thing. So things change, and as you can see, I'm in a brand new chair. For about 5 months, we've had an old chair that was very creaky and made a lot of noise. It was comfortable to sit in, though. But then it finally just gave up. It broke. A bolt broke, and then the whole structure and integrity of the design was compromised, and so I had to get rid of the chair. And so we have a new chair. It's a secret lab chair. And what's neat is that it relies on magnets to hold some things together. Like this headrest. You pop it off like that. It's magnets. And they're very powerful magnets. When I first took this out of the bag, it stuck to my watch, which is like a metal mesh, and wouldn't let go. Pulling to get it off. And there are other magnets on this thing, on the armrests, on the sides, where they just kind of, I think it's genius. It holds things together really well. You don't have to have a screw or glue or sticky anything. It just snaps on. But, as the documentation says, magnets tend to interfere with pacemakers or other electronic devices. So keep your credit cards away from your headrest. And if you have heart trouble, don't put one of these things on there. See, look at my armrest thing here, if I can get that off. Yeah, here's the armrest. And you can see the magnets that are in the armrest clamp onto this. And the armrests are, I guess they say 4-way. They go forward and backward. They go this way and this way. And then, without touching the chair mechanically, they also shift this way. Very nice. So this is so to finish the story of yesterday, and not getting notified, or trying to get notified by the front desk that we have a 76-pound delivery coming yesterday, and wondering what's going on and why they're not responding to me, and then I found out that the person I was SMSing didn't even see the SMS. So I called, you saw me on a break calling and saying, hey, and they said, okay. So about a half hour after we got off the air yesterday, got a call, hey, come down FedEx, pick up your box. Okay, ran down. FedEx guy is there waiting in the lobby like this. Because he just wants to come in, drop off the box, and leave. But the policy in this building is if a package is over 50 pounds, the concierge, the front desk, will not process the box. They will not accept delivery. You, as the resident, have to go down, sign for it yourself. So the delivery person comes in, says, I have a delivery, and it's 76 pounds, and the front desk says, whoa, Nelly. We're not signing for it. So then I go down. It was 2 minutes. So then it was pouring rain. Got a little cart. He said, you need a cart. FedEx guy. So we went out together to his truck. It was just a regular Penske truck. The only thing in the truck was my giant chair. And it was a giant black box weighing 76 pounds. And I didn't know it was going to be like this. This was a freight delivery. It was FedEx Home, but it's not regular FedEx. It's FedEx Freight. So I thought, well, that's interesting. And I didn't have any tip money for him. I felt bad. But he just gave me the box. He lifted it off the truck, put it on the dolly thing, and said, see ya, and left. So he probably doesn't get tipped a lot, but I should have tipped him some. So then I'm wheeling the thing back in the building, and you're not supposed to wheel big, heavy things like that because they're unsightly and unseemly into the lobby, but they said, that's okay, just go. So I went back upstairs with this giant black box with this giant chair in it. I said, this is going to take me all day to put this together. So then you open the box, and the very first thing you see is this. And I don't even really have room to show it to you because it's so big, but this was the size of the box, this way and that way, and then it was deep, about 16 inches. So this is the height and size, sort of the box, right? Secret Lab, high-rated computer chair. And they're not paying me for this. There's no advertising. I'm just sharing with you my experience as a human being. A little off. The Titan Evo 2022 series chair. You can see everything reflecting in this. Now, I'm telling you, this thing, insert, is very heavy. I guess you'd say it's laminated. And it probably costs at least $30 to have this in there. And here's the little designed by, I don't even know if I can show this to you. I can't. Certificate of authenticity. Is that what they call it? I can't even see where it is. But anyway, it's this thing right here. Certificate of authenticity. And the chair also has an NFT, a near field thing where you can put your phone up to it if your phone is capable of that to guarantee, to authenticate the authenticity of the chair. What do they call it? It's written on here. Anti-counterfeit verification, NFC. Verify the authenticity of your Secret Lab chair and access our assembly video. Now, so this is what you first see when you pull up. So it's very impressive, and it is packed really well. That's why it's so big and so heavy, is because unlike other companies, the Secret Lab dudes and dudettes put a lot of really good foam packaging on every corner and on every little thing. Every little gear, every little knob, every little whatever. And all the equipment is included. It's very easy. If you've ever put a chair before together yourself, it can be trying, especially putting the back on the bottom, as they say. But this one is designed in a way where you really can do it all by yourself. You don't need anybody to help you or hold something. You just follow the directions and put it all together. And they have lots of different directions. And here are the directions. Oh my gosh. Here we go. I'm flipping it over. Oh. Now, how can you get better than this? Step one, pull it out of the box, right? And here's the QR code if you want to just scan this with your phone and then watch the video of them putting it together. I've done at least 10 chairs in my life, and when I saw this, I said, this will never be easier. And it wasn't. It was the easiest chair I've ever put together. And also the best built. A lot of these chairs, this thing, whatever you call this thing, usually plastic or aluminum or a very thin sort of steel. This is very, very, very strong, heavy, thick steel. Probably it's the 76 pounds right there in that thing. So you take it out of the box, you put on the roller casters. Then you put on the hydraulic thing, the pneumatic thing, right? Then you take out the bolts on the bottom, the seat of the chair, put the back on, put the bolts back on, tighten it up, magnets. This one says, oh, this is the direction between, it's very interesting. The direction between, and this is even an American Sign Language thing, the direction between left and right is very important. Are you looking at a mirror or are you not looking at a mirror? Well, when they say the right hand is the right side of the chair, okay, is it you looking at the chair is the right-hand side of the chair, or is you sitting in the chair the right-hand side of the chair? Well, it's you sitting in the chair is the right-hand side of the chair, which is absolutely the right way to describe it and do it. But a lot of people don't know what it means, and they just say, oh, right hand is me looking at the chair. It's my right hand. It's the other way around. So there's this sticker on here, sort of, this paper sticker thing that's wrapped around the chair with arrows pointing at it saying, this is the right side. And I took it off immediately because I thought, I don't want that paper thing on my chair. Well, there's a step where they say, now it's time to take this off on the right side, because you've installed everything properly. So I had to look at the picture and say, okay, so it's when they say right side, they mean the point of view from you sitting in the chair. So it all worked out. There's a safety thing, so when it reclines back, if you don't want it to recline because of child safety issues, there's a lock that you can save and reinstall. I did not save the child safety lock. Then you tip your chair over, you insert these things for tilt lock and height adjustments and forward, backward tension, more screws. Then you put the base in to the chair, and then this is the interesting part where sometimes this can be a little tricky if everything isn't seated properly, but they explain it very well. They say gently tip, hold the base with one hand, and then gently tip it over so it's up. Oh my gosh, there's Jana Baby. It's a great chair you have, pretty fancy. My office chair keeps moving down. It's broken, and my office can't afford a new one yet. And I think that's a terrible thing, my love. Jana is my beautiful wife, by the way. Because you sit in a chair, especially when you're working like you do, all day. You're up and down. It affects how you feel, how you work. And if you're in the wrong chair and it hurts your back, and I had my replacement chair in here that I like a lot, but it hurts my back. It just doesn't fit my back right. And it was a little bit painful for a couple of days till the new chair came. So the fact that you have a chair that just dies reminds me of the Office episode, new chairs for everybody, or replace the copier, and Pam says, I sit in a chair and it just goes down. It's a sad thing. So what do? Some people complain, they make a disability claim, an access claim to get a better chair. It's a terrible thing. You should just go to your boss and say, look, my chair is broken, it doesn't work, please replace it. But when you're dealing with some companies, maybe government industries, there are protocols and budgets to follow, and sometimes the people suffer. And then the final step is the best step, where you put the armrest on the arm thing, and it's all with magnets. And there's only one way they can go on, and they just snap. You put them near the thing and then snap. It's fantastic. And then they have some kind of cloud version of these armrests that you can purchase separately, but they don't have them, that has German gel in them. So it's like memory foam gel that cools your arms as they rest on it. And it conforms to your arms so you can work longer and last longer while mousing. $89 for the extra armrests. And they're out of stock. So obviously, either they've never been made or never been available, which is what I'm getting by reading people commenting about this new chair. They say, where are the armrests? I want the armrests, and they're not available. So as far as I can tell, they've never been made available. They're just out there in the cloud, unorderable. Now, we're not done with this because we have a whole other side. So this shows you how to adjust your chair. Going back. Where is it? Here. tilting back, and you can go all the way back down if you want to. A little tilt lever here. You can also lock that. These are the 4-way armrests. Go up, down, back and forth, and in and out. Very interesting. Here's the tilt mechanism that you adjust. I just used the regular tilt mechanism. It was fine with me. It wasn't a problem. Messing with my computer over there. This is how you can manually, but you have to use a screwdriver thing, move the armrests in and out from the undercarriage. That's a little severe. I guess if you were really tiny and you needed to move them in, you could, because they're already all the way out. And then they have lumbar support, where you can tighten up a knob on the side to make it support your back better, or you can change the position of where the support is. I played with both of them yesterday, and I found them not to be helpful. I liked the way the chair was with nothing of it there, just sitting in it. So I think I turned everything off. And then this one is, I'm not sure what this one is. Lumbar usage, what does that mean? Oh. Yeah. It means don't adjust these things while you're sitting in the chair. You know, you have to sit forward and then adjust it and then sit back. And the temptation is to feel it moving up and down, because you can and you do. And I'm not telling you how I know that, because I probably did it. And here are the tilt mechanisms underneath. One to raise and lower the chair. The other one to move the chair forward and back if you want to lock it. I don't think it goes forward. Some chairs do go forward. I think this one just goes back. And then this is the verification, where you can verify with your phone using NFC that this is an authentic Secret Lab chair. So that is my chair review. This is not a good look for me. Too many bad shadows. And I have to tell you, while it was the easiest chair I have ever set up in my lifetime, it was also the only chair I've had that wore me out completely. When I was over, I sat in the chair and just kind of sat there for a while, numb. Because this chair is so well made, it's huge, as you'll see when I take my break soon. And also every part of it is really well made, which means heavy steel. And it's heavy. So it's super easy to put together. You got to lift it all out of the box, 76 pounds. Then you got to put the 76 pounds together and tighten and flip. And there's a lot of documentation and a lot of tools. So you have to take time to read all that and memorize it and figure out what's going on. And it wears you out a little bit. But hey, we have success. And there's also a very strong smell of new foam. If you have a foam bed, you know the off-gassing scent that I am describing to you. And they were also desiccant. Little like pieces of paper, but they were like pieces of paper with gel in between that were strategically placed around the chair, I guess to get rid of moisture while it's in transit or sitting in the warehouse waiting to be shipped. I thought that was very neat too. I like that a lot. So there you go. That's my chair review. Now it's time to take our next blood pressure break, our first blood pressure break. And this is our intermission screen. And as you can see right here in the middle, this is our Discord text server, which is where we're going to place our testing window for them, so they can see exactly what's happening and why, and if the object thing ever gets fixed. I don't know if it will be, but we're always hopeful, as always. And as I leave, you'll be able to take a deeper look at this beautiful new chair. I will return momentarily. And we're back from break. I'm David Bowles, and this is Bowles.tv, BOLES.tv. Video on demand for watching later is on YouTube, and you can get there by going to BOLES.live. Bowles.live. So we talked about the new chair. Up and down, back and forth, it goes back, rocks, sort of. But it doesn't squeak. The old chair, if I did this or if I did this, it would squeak. It was terrible. This is not so terrible. This is okay. We're doing fine. It's a great chair. No complaints. Secret Lab, the Titan 2022. So, as a streamer, who likes to put music in the stream, you are really going to be in big trouble. Even if you play all your cards right, you're still going to get dinged by Twitch or YouTube for allegedly using music in your stream that you do not have the right to use. It's a big problem. And there are companies out there, Monster Cat Gold, Pretzel Rocks Pro, Slipstream. They're all streaming music companies. And their idea is that they are there to help streamers use a wide variety of music that is licensed for use in streaming. Now, I have to be very careful because some of these streaming licenses do not include repeats or video on demand, or use in a commercial, or use in a podcast. Some of these companies just say a live stream is your license. Anything after that, we don't cover. So that's a problem. You really have to ask and provide scenarios. If I did this, if I did that, am I covered? Yes or no? And the more coverage you want, just like insurance, the higher the price point will be for your stream. So I generally tend to use Slipstream. Carson, turns out, is an old friend of mine from way back when. He was an actor in a television show that I wrote and produced in Lincoln, Nebraska, and he was a little tiny child. And now he's the head of many companies. But right now he's one of the head guys at Slip.stream. And I have a commercial license from them, which means I can pretty much use their music catalog anywhere I want. Great, right? No. Because there are terrible people out there in the world. I call them bad actors, bad faith actors, who, taking advantage of AI, artificial intelligence technology, when it comes to streaming, will claim to own a copyright on the music that is playing beneath a live streamer. And I'm talking about me specifically, but this is everywhere, as you're going to see in a minute. And so if you're on Twitch and you get dinged like that, and these aren't people doing it, this is all pre-done with AI. These companies provide samples of their music, and then the AI compares their sample to what you're using and decides if you're in violation or not. And you can appeal a violation on Twitch, in my experience, and in the experience of many other people, that if Twitch mutes your audio, and they don't just mute your song, they mute all the sound coming from your video on demand. And they default mute it for 6 minutes. It doesn't matter if the song is 1 minute. You are muted for 6 minutes because Twitch, I guess, believes that the average length of a song is 3 minutes, which is true. Or it used to be. And so to be safe, on either side of the possible violation of using the song, they put a blanket 6 minutes So 6 minutes of your video on demand is unhearable, both music and voice, and any other sound. And I have one video from last month on the 8th where I got dinged 3 times on the same video on demand. And I was using slip.stream, and I have a playlist, and the playlist at that time had very short songs, some were a minute, and they would just repeat. So over a course of a 2-hour, 3-hour stream, the song would repeat. So every time that song came up and played, boom. Video on demand, muted. And so what we do is we then download our video on demand episodes from Twitch, and then we upload them to YouTube. Just as a safety precaution, because Twitch doesn't save all of your video on demands. They used to say they save 3 months and then you're out if you have Nitro or whatever. If you're just a regular streamer, it's like 60 days. But it seems to me that the cutoff point is 130 video on demands. Anything over 130, they delete. And once they delete it, it's gone. So if you want to save it, if you want to keep it, then you have to download it and upload it to YouTube. And there's supposed to be some kind of export function on Twitch where you just click a button and it does that for you, upload your stuff to YouTube, but it doesn't appear to be reliable. At least according to people that I know and respect. So you have to do it yourself to make sure it's there and safe. And on YouTube, once it's uploaded, it's just there forever. And what does forever mean in the internet age? I don't know. Probably not forever. But here's the problem. When Twitch mutes your audio, and then you download your show and upload it to YouTube, your YouTube video now has 3 spots of 6 minutes long each where it's completely muted, ruining the show. So you go into Twitch and you appeal and say, please unmute this. That's the process. I then contact slip.stream. They're very responsive, very helpful, very good. They contact Twitch and say, this is not right. We have a license to that song. It's fine that he uses it because he has a commercial license. And Twitch is supposed to immediately remove it. And of course they didn't. I've done research. I've talked to people. I don't know anybody who has had a Twitch video unmuted ever. Now, maybe it's not technically possible because they save the video on demand, they mute you, and they can't undo it. Now, YouTube, on the other hand, can. They will mute you. They'll tell you exactly what song is the problem. They'll tell you exactly who's claiming the copyright. And you can then disagree, appeal with that strike, and the other side has 30 days to respond to you, saying, no, you don't have a commercial license. And if they don't respond in 30 days, then you win the complaint. But for 30 days, your video has been muted. And that's usually what happens. You object. That party, because it's all automatic, doesn't see it, doesn't care, doesn't reply, and it falls off in 30 days. And I believe these companies do rely on that 30-day window. They think if they come and ding you and say you're in violation, that you're going to be scared and just say, okay, take my advertising money. But if you know you have a license and you know you did not do anything to them, it makes you very angry. And so you appeal, and then 30 days later you win your appeal. On Twitch, it doesn't seem to work that way. You never get a response from the other party. You never get a response from Twitch. You never get unmuted. I have contacted Twitch about that video on demand they have muted. They will not respond. I believe slip.stream has contacted Twitch as well, and I don't believe they have responded to them, because if they would respond to them, they would take the mute off of my video and let me have my video restored. And they've not done that either, which makes me think that they can't undo a mute once the mute is done. So it makes it very perilous. Because if you have a song that for some reason the Twitch algorithm doesn't like, you lose 6 minutes of audio. Now, I have had instances where I upload something to YouTube after it's been on video on demand on Twitch. About 90% of the things that are on Twitch are fine. And then about 30% of the things I upload to YouTube that Twitch doesn't have a problem with, that YouTube dings and says, oh, copyright violation. You have to share your proceeds with this other person. It's weird because you think that if it bothers YouTube, it would bother Twitch first. But overall, I think I've had maybe 3 dings on Twitch with VOD being muted. And on YouTube, I think it's 10 probably. So almost 3 times as bad on YouTube as it is on Twitch. And it's concerning. And what I think is happening is these companies, Twitch, YouTube, everybody else, are just using computers to listen to the music, distinguish similarities, and then create violations. There's no human logic involved in the process. And I believe that there are bad actors out there who take streams of music that people have written and performed and provided for free. These people say there's no copyright. Use it as you want. Royalty free. And these bad actors then take that free music, sample a 10-second, 15-second part of that free music, create a whole new song that could be terrible. They include that sample in the new song, a sample that is free for anyone to use. And then the bad actor publishes that song with that sample from the free song, claims the copyright on the new song, and then uses AI to say that little sample part, listen for it, in the free version that, let's say, 1,000 people have used, thinking that it's for free. And now it becomes a sample in a new song. And the new song people, the bad actors, go to YouTube and Twitch and say, hey, that little sample part, excuse me, is in my song, my original song. I want 50% of revenue from all those 1,000 people who are using what is that free version of the song, but that I have now incorporated into my song as a sample. So technically, the audio matches from the sample in the new song that they stole from the original song. And then they then apply that little patch of music that's been sampled to these 1,000 other people. And that's how they play the game. That's how what I call the scam works. And YouTube and Twitch are, in some ways, part of it because they allow it to happen. So I was in a conversation yesterday with my friends at Slip.Stream, and they sent me this wonderful article. And it's from December, which is super interesting because it's December, not that long ago, 4 or 5 months ago, about this big thing happening with YouTube. Millions of incorrect copyright claims in 6 months, right? That's a problem. It makes people not happy. And has anything changed? No. Over 2.2 million copyright claims hit YouTube videos before later being overturned between January and June of this year. That's last year, a year ago, according to a new report published by the company. The Copyright Transparency Report is the first of its kind published by YouTube, which says it will update biannually going forward. And this is where it gets very interesting. What's going on? Well, I just told you what's going on. The 2.2 million incorrect claims represent fewer than 1% of the more than 729 million total copyright claims issued in the first half of this year. Last year. 99% of which originated from Content ID, YouTube's automated machine, not human, automated enforcement tool. When users dispute these claims, the case was resolved in favor of the uploader, that's not me, of the video 60% of the time, according to the report. Well, every time I have protested these Content ID dings on my YouTube videos, I have won. Because I know I have a commercial license. And I know the game. Now, a lot of people think, oh, I bought the CD, the music right belongs to me, I can use it. I bought the song on a music service, I have the right to use it. I have the right to use it as free use, fair use. I have the right. None of that's going to work, ever. You will always lose those cases because they're not true. And you kind of have to go layer into the complaint to say, no, yes, I have a license to use this music. Though mistaken copyright claims are a drop in the bucket on a larger scale, YouTube creators have long complained about how the platform handles claims, saying overly aggressive or unjustified enforcement can lead to lost income. Copyright claims can result in videos being blocked, audio being muted, or ad revenue going back to the original rights claim owner. The new report gives shape to a problem that YouTube itself has acknowledged and needs updating. The new report suggests that no system is perfect, and that errors happen even with established guardrails in place to prevent abuse of enforcement mechanisms. When disputes take place, the process provided by YouTube provides real recourse, and over 60% of these disputes were resolved in favor of the uploader. And here is that infamous news report YouTube, my music stopped, so I have to make a note of this and report this also to Slipstream. 58:53 is when it stopped playing. Oh gosh. I just got to remember to hit the forward button myself, and everything will be fine. So let me see if I can put this in chat. Here's the link in chat. YouTube. YouTube copyright. And it's a look at the enforcement on copyright, how they work it. And YouTube does do an okay job that if you get a ding, you have a path to disagree, and then a path to get your video unmuted. So they have the technical capability of doing that. Which probably means having two copies of the file. One file that is muted and a backup file which is unmuted. And if you win and they restore your video, they replace the muted video with the unedited version. And if you lose, then they just keep the muted version online and then they get rid of the backup. I'm guessing. I don't know. YouTube says we also measure how often creators push back against removals and content ID claims they believe are made in error. As the report notes, we see low levels of disputes relative to total claims, particularly within tools that use automatic detection. Well, I don't believe that's true. In the first half of 2021, fewer than 1% of all content ID claims were disputed. Oh, it's because people get scared. They don't know what they're doing. They think a big company's going to come after them and sue them for big money. Like they did with Napster. So, that's what's going on in the music streaming world. It's slightly depressing because you just don't know where you're going to go to get help. You do all the right things, you get the right commercial version, you get all the licensing set up, and Twitch and YouTube still don't like it and will ding you and mute your video. But you keep going. And you persevere because you want music in your live show because it adds ambiance and texture. And on that note, I'm going to go get rid of some texture. In this, our next blood pressure break. Back in a moment. And we're back from break. I'm David Bowles, and this is Bowles.tv, BOLES.tv, Monday through Friday, live 9 a.m. Eastern. And when we were on our break, or I didn't see it, our friend Gordon is here. And our friend Gordon said something very lovely and interesting. Quick note. Oh, now this is interesting. Why can't I see what everything Gordon said? I'll have to pull this out more. No, it's not going to pull out more. It's interesting, too. Oh, the size is the size. Quick note that I appreciate you say 20 and not 2,000. Talking about the year. As so many still do to this day. Years after your very well-written blog, bowlesblogs.com, about why 20 is correct and 2,000 is not. Well, thank you so much, Gordon. I appreciate that. It reminds me of a conversation I was reading just the other day. And someone was asking, why do people say, when they're talking about a year, 1901? And then they were clever and spelled it like this, 1901. Okay? Now that is an O and not a zero. And the person was saying, why don't they pronounce it correctly? So it's 1901, which is how we normally would also see it. So you see a zero instead of an O. And you really can't see that unless you're really paying attention. And they were asking linguists about this. And the answer seemed to be that there's no reason, it's just that people are lazy. That saying O is faster and easier to say than zero. So the loss of one syllable makes it more common to say 1901. You could say ought, A-U-G-H-T, 1901, which I believe the old-timers used to say. They're all dead now. But it reminds me of growing up in the Midwest. And my home phone number used to end in 666 0. And I always said it like that. And nobody else did. They always said 6660. And I remember as a child thinking, why are they saying O? It's not an O. Because if you look at a conventional keypad dial on a phone, there is an O. And the O is for operator. Why did I say 6660? I think because it was more precise. Wasn't trying to be funny or anything. It's just that was the number. It was the number is 0. The number is not O. But now, I guess, 40 years later, anything goes. Cats and dogs living together. So you try to be precise, and people still want to ding you for it. But that's okay. Oh, now you can see my microphone here. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not there. It's a very strange thing. Oh, if I move it back. If I move it back there, you can't see. But then you can't hear me. Got to be a little bit closer to the microphone. So, I get a lot of email. And I always love reading, usually, the PR stuff that's about, interesting things. I get a lot of PR stuff that's about people trying to be discovered. I don't get a lot of PR stuff about well-known people. Here we go. Instead of saying 1-800, people will see lowercase I-800. Very interesting. First time chatter, John Wilkes Booth is back. And I do remember that username. I believe we got our first visit on President's Day. I'm not sure where you've been, John Wilkes Booth. It looks like 01 to me, but it could be 01. As I get older, my eyes become less accustomed to seeing the difference between an O and a 1. That was meant to be the letter L, but lowercase form. Okay, cool, got it. John Wilkes Booth is working, all right? I hope you're not working on anything nefarious, because that would not be good. I hope you're working on bringing love and joy to the souls of many people. And by the way, we now have set up, I talked about this in the first hour when I did up my review of my new chair from Secret Lab. And I worked all day yesterday to get the headrest right. It's very soft, super soft, and it's a very strong magnet in it. And I messed it up. But we now have, as you can see here, that is our voice chat in Discord. Now, you can't get on the server for chatting in text or in voice without permission, approval, but it's an interesting theory to get people there, get people chatting, and everything that I'm saying is being transcribed into our text channel on Discord as well. So if you ever need to know what we were saying, you can just go back and look at the text chat. Just setting up for my next big hit. That doesn't sound very good. And be careful. We don't want to get in trouble with making threats or saying things we shouldn't be saying. Not from my point of view, but from the point of view of the people who are hosting this stream. They get very touchy about that kind of thing. So, I get emails from people selling stuff. And sometimes you think, well, it'd be fun to do an interview but people don't want to really do interviews with you if they have a name, unless they're selling something. Unless they're putting a pitch together. And what fun is that, trying to interview somebody about, what they think about life and their philosophy of living, and all they're trying to do is sell you a book or something. Or my bit hit towards love and peace. Okay, I'm not sure what that means, but I hope it's a good thing. So I get this yesterday, which I found absolutely fascinating, from a PR firm. Lenny Kravitz. Yes, that Lenny Kravitz. Used to be married to Lisa Bonet, the father of Zoe Kravitz in the new Batman movie. He's selling something. And it's not movies. It's not music. Lenny has boots. Custom boots in collaboration with other designers. It just struck me as weird. Now, I know everybody wants to make money, and I didn't know that Lenny Kravitz was known for boots. I love his music. I wish we had more of it in the popular mainstream idea of our musical canon. But the stuff we have from him is fine. But the boots? These are Getty images that the PR person sent along of Lenny, I guess, wearing his new designer boots. And I believe I read somewhere that Lenny is a little on the smaller side, so he likes to wear shoes that lift him up. And as you can see, these are sort of high-heeled boots. And I guess here's another image of Lenny playing his beautiful guitar in silver high-heeled boots. Or boot pictures. So I didn't know this, and I guess every day we live to learn something new. Apart from his successful music career, Lenny Kravitz's fashion experimentation has helped him become the icon he is today, never falling to push the envelope with his fashion choices by breaking conventional societal norms. Kravitz follows a long line of megawatt performers who have given the heel a go, including David Bowie, Prince, and more recently, Harry Styles. So you can get more images of Lenny wearing boots, but you have to log in, so drop box site. You have to tell people who you are. I didn't log in. But here's more images of, I guess, the great Lenny wearing his boots. Now, that looks uncomfortable to me. I don't know a lot of men, boots or not, who would stand quite that way behind an iron gate. But I also don't know a lot of rock stars, so maybe that is common. And here we go. This is the outline of the iconic Lenny Kravitz boot. And the zipper does not go all the way up. I don't understand that either. I guess it's enough room to get your ankle in and then to entrap your ankle. I don't know. I don't know if this is a boot that I would wear. It doesn't appear to be a woman's boot. It appears to be a boot made for men. I don't know a lot of men who would wear knee-high boots. Not judging, just sharing. And I guess on the bottom of these man boots, Let Love Rule, which is the title of one of his big popular songs, beautiful, fantastic song. I wish I could play it for you now, but I would absolutely be dinged by YouTube and Twitch. A 1 of 1 for Lenny Kravitz. So I guess you can order the Lenny Kravitz boots and have your name on it and have you say something on the bottom of the boot. I have no idea about pricing, but I'm sure they're not going to be very cheap. Also in the news, the great Noam Chomsky. Now, a lot of people don't like Noam because he's kind of a guy in the middle. He tells truth against the far right. He tells truth against the far left. And people in the middle are angry with him because he doesn't take a side. He just tries to see the overall good. And he writes great books. And he has a great intelligent mind. And agree or disagree with Noam, there is no question that he's a genius. And if you know anything about Noam, you can see just by this little interview that he did that I'll play for you next, he looks unwell and a little old. Nothing wrong with that, but it makes you feel for him a little bit. Because he's usually very sharply dressed, clean shaven, and his hair is perfectly coiffed. Not the case here, but again, to Noam, that doesn't matter. What matters is the thought. So here's what he says, and then we'll read a little bit more about what he said in this new interview.
We're approaching the most dangerous point in human history. The first article I wrote, at least that I can remember, was in 5th grade. It's 10 years old. I can date it very easily because of the time and the topic.
It's hard for you to hear. I have everything blasted all the way up. It's just low volume in this obviously unprofessional interview.
It was an article about the fall of Barcelona. It was an article for the elementary school newspaper. I was the editor, probably the only reader, maybe my mother. The article I hardly remember. It was about the fall of Austria, fall of Czechoslovakia, fall of Toledo, now the fall of Barcelona. Looks like the grim cloud of fascism is spreading over the whole world, inexorable. Well, that was February 1939. Haven't changed my opinion since. It's just gotten worse. The doomsday clock of the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists under Trump, they abandoned minutes, moved to seconds. 100 seconds to midnight. That's where it is now. Because the threats are accumulating. We're approaching the most dangerous point.
I see what's going on. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to stop my music. Bop. And I need to turn this up. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go back. I'll play because it's important what he's saying. Now, this should work.
we're approaching the most dangerous point in human history. The first article I wrote, at least that I can remember, was in 5th grade. I was 10 years old. I can date it very easily because of the time and the topic. It was an article about the fall of Barcelona. It was an article for the elementary school newspaper. I was the editor, probably the only reader, maybe my mother. The article I hardly remember. It was about the fall of Austria, fall of Czechoslovakia, fall of Toledo, now the fall of Barcelona. Looks like the grim cloud of fascism is spreading over the whole world, inexorable. Well, that was February 1939. Haven't changed my opinion since. It's just gotten worse. The doomsday clock of the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists under Trump, they abandoned minutes, moved to seconds, 100 seconds to midnight. That's where it is now, because the threats are accumulating. We're approaching the most dangerous point in human history. Nothing like it before. We are now facing the prospect of destruction of organized human life on Earth from environmental destruction, and not in the remote future. We are approaching irreversible turning turning points which will not be cannot be dealt with any longer. It doesn't mean everybody's going to die, but it's going to mean moving to a future in which the lucky ones will be those who die more quickly.
Okay, good. So I fixed the audio on that. Now if I put the music back out, it's probably going to be too loud, which will be interesting if it ever comes back. You never know when you're streaming music. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. All right, now the music's playing. Okay, so I think I fixed that. Good. So here is some of the highlights from the Noam Chomsky interview. What he says on the war in Ukraine. It's monstrous for Ukraine. Why did he do it? There are two ways of looking at this question. One way, the fashionable way in the West, is to plumb the recesses of Putin's twisted mind and to try to determine what's happening in his deep psyche. Interesting take. On Donald Trump coming back. Noam says, I remember listening to Hitler's speeches on the radio. I didn't understand the words, but I understood the mood. And it was frightening and terrifying. And when you watch one of Trump's rallies, that can't fail to come to mind. That's what we're facing. Absolutely right. And he has the support of the GOP. On the Republican Party, because of Trump's fanaticism, the worshipful base of the Republican Party barely regards climate change as a serious problem. That's a death warrant to the species. That also has been proven true. On Brexit, I think it's a disaster, Noam says. What does it mean for the Conservative Party? I imagine they can just lie their way out of it. They're doing a good job lying about a lot of things and getting away with it in the UK. And then they ask about a couple of other people that we don't know. And then he says, on hope for the future, and here's a better picture of Noam, how he usually looks with his glasses and hair and beard-free face. Noam says about the future, there are plenty of young people who are appalled by the behavior of the older generation, which is good, rightly, and are dedicated to trying to stop this madness before it consumes us all. Well, that's the hope for the future. And that always does seem to be it. Let's see if I can get this link and put it in chat. Is that the young people are dismissed by the older generation as a bunch of know-nothings. And then something bad happens, and the kids come in and save us from ourselves. Can it be done? I don't know. That was the problem, in my opinion, with... There's a link. I think that'll take you there. With Joe Biden as president. He's old. He has old ideas about what the Senate is. He doesn't understand the threat to democracy that the modern GOP is pressing upon us. Mr. Gordon says when Brexit was being proposed, I listened every day to BBC Radio 4 program called Farming Today. A lot of farmers warned against the threat to food if Brexit were approved. And nearly all of them are coming to fruition. No pun intended. Well, that's the truth. Brexit is a ridiculously dumb idea. And I still don't understand why it was done, why it was supported, why it wasn't abandoned. Can they put it back? The rumor is this is all Rupert Murdoch's doing. For some reason, he wanted the European Union broken up. For some reason, Rupert Murdoch wants the United States of America broken up. And he has dedicated his life and his money and his television stations to that end. And he has unfortunately been found to be very successful. And when are people going to wake up? And stand up and fight for what they want and what they believe in? It's a difficult task to know where we're going. One more very brief break, and I'm back with so much more to discuss. We'll see if we have time. Back in a moment. we are back from break. I'm David Bowles. This is Bowles.tv, BOLES.tv, streaming live with you Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Well, it's hard to know what to cover, what to chat about. I always have more things to talk about than I have hours in the day. So I was going to talk about the Adjunct Handbook, which is a fascinating new book. But that conversation is going to be a little more intense and probably prolonged than I have the opportunity to talk about today. So I'll talk about that tomorrow. It's an excellent book, and a lot of people don't know what's going on with adjuncts. School is very expensive. There are schools right now, private schools in America, where one semester is $60,000 for one semester. And adjuncts are not getting that money. And adjuncts, on average, teach 76% of all undergraduate courses. Because the full-time faculty, the tenured faculty, most of them, they don't want to have anything to do with undergraduates. They're there for graduate students and graduate work, where they can put their graduate students to work for them doing research. So we'll go back to my favorite topic, which is NFTs, crypto. Here we go. What's going on with crypto today? Oh, Ethereum's down. This is really not good. The downward trend. Not so great. 3,200. Now, a week and a half ago it was 2,500. Then it went up to 35, 36 a couple of days ago. Now it's dropped down to 32. I don't know what's going on. It's very interesting to watch it rise and fall. So 3,200 to me is not yet a buyer's market. Anything under 3,000 is a good deal, I think. But if you see something you like, go and buy it. However, if you buy something right now, your gas fees are going to be $40. Buy something that's $100 in NFT, and your gas fee, your tax fee, your gas fee is $40. 40% of your purchase price. It's a big problem. And that's why some NFT artists, like Sabet, who have a lot of money, very successful, as he says, being an artist for 50 years, that he privately mints them, his NFTs, in many different places. And then, if it's a private sale on a whitelist, he'll say, look, go to my website, buy it from me, not OpenSea, not Coinbase, buy it from me, and I, Sabet, will pay the gas. Smart deal. Then people know what they're in for. Okay, I see the piece, usually. Not a surprise. I know how much it is, $300. And I'm all in, $300 in my wallet, I'll get it. Because otherwise you go and you pay, and sometimes you don't have enough for the gas. The rule of thumb is to always have $100 more in your Ethereum wallet than you need to pay for an NFT just to cover the gas fees. But a couple of weeks ago, the gas fee was $125. So $100 just is not enough to cover. Now, Ethereum is making a big merge. Some people call it Ethereum 2. People in the know say that is not the correct term. It's not the second form of Ethereum. This is the evolution of Ethereum. And it's going to take 2 years to get there. I thought it was coming in a month or two, and it's already been started, but it's not complete. I guess it's been going on since 2020. Ethereum's coming merge could make or break crypto, which sounds very scary, especially coming from Bloomberg. The technology change will dramatically cut energy use, but a lot could go wrong. Bum, bum, bum. Sometime later this year, Ethereum is set to make the biggest change in its near-decade history, an event that's certain to ripple through the entire ecosystem of cryptocurrencies and digital assets. Think of it this way. The most important commercial highway in crypto is about to be completely repaved, which sounds terrible. But it's really not. It's good because your gas fee is going to go from $125 to $30 to pennies with this new system. Ethereum is essentially computer software that uses so-called blockchain technology to provide a digital ledger for recording transactions. It's a ledger book on the internet. It's become the most popular basis for a growing array of commercial crypto assets and applications, including lending products, non-fungible tokens, as well as native tokens, Ether. Ethereum isn't owned by anyone, that's very good, but it's built, and refined by a community of developers. And it runs on a network of data centers throughout the world. These data centers operate as miners on the networks, recording transactions that are posted to the digital ledger. In return, they get paid for that work in Ether. The system has been dubbed proof of work. And Mr. Gordon says the caption system changed gas fee to Gatsby. And I can't think of a more perfect way to describe it. Fantastic. And it's interesting, the closed captions for the live feed and the closed captions in our Discord server are different. I thought for a while that the Discord was captioning better than StreamCC. I mean, they're both awful, really, if you get down to it, because it's very expensive to do it right. If you're going to do it right, you have to train the voice to text to recognize how you pronounce words. And that's very expensive to do. So they do the best they can. I think one uses Google, the other uses the Microsoft technology. But as my beautiful wife Janice says, when it comes to these kinds of things, it's better than nothing. So we soldier on. And Scriptly on Discord is supposed to be having a premium service, which I wish StreamCC had, that will provide somehow more processing power, better translation into multiple languages, which I don't care about. I have no idea when that's coming or how expensive it will be, but it sounds expensive. Right now, free is okay. So they're talking about this merge and how it's all going to work and how Ethereum 1 is going to become Ethereum 2. It's a new method of ordering Ethereum transactions and how it commands resources. It's less energy intensive. Let's see, this is the technological reason behind it. Developers who work on refining the Ethereum software roll out periodic upgrades, but none has been major as the one expected this year. Yay! Named the Merge. It will replace miners with so-called stakers. Miners order transactions by solving complex calculations using millions of powerful servers, a system that's been criticized for its heavy use of electricity. Stakers, by contrast, will order transactions by putting up their own Ether on a new system, which has been in testing since December of 2020. People can already use their digital wallets to stake Ether on this test system called the Beacon Chain. After the merge, they will start to be selected at random to become what are known as validators, ordering transactions on the Ethereum digital ledger into blocks and getting paid with new Ether. This is called proof of stake. Now, that's all very confusing. I don't understand it fully, but here's a graph that sort of takes a look at what's going on with the new change, how it works, and how it's about to work. All these different segments, which are very expensive to confirm, versus one big blob, which is easier and cheaper to confirm. The merge between Ethereum 1 and Ethereum 2, is what they're calling it, will be a nail-biter, because a lot could go wrong. There could be software bugs or hacks, or miners could create an alternative Ethereum network. During a 2020 network upgrade, a bug split Ethereum in two, wreaking havoc on its nascent DeFi, decentralized finance ecosystem. The apps that let other people trade, borrow, and lend without intermediaries like banks And this is interesting because the miners make a lot of money by mining the crypto, and now you're cutting them out in favor of stakers. So the miners are causing the most worries. Many quit the network right before the merge, figuring they can make more money by selling their gear than by waiting to get on the last of the rewards. Too steep a drop in the networking's mining power or the hash rate could weaken Ethereum's security, spelling disaster for its token and the various apps using the network. Ethereum's core developers have planned for that scenario. If we see the hash rate dropping, we could pull the merge forward. All the software is built with an emergency option. So it's going to be interesting times. And I know the Bloomberg is conservative. They like the status quo. Bloomberg is a millionaire. They don't like crypto. So take all of that with a bag of beans. Blockchain project Ronin hit by $650 million crypto heist. This is a little bit of old news. Not terribly interesting, except for the fact that it's a lot of money that's gone missing. What's more interesting is what's coming right after this that I will share with you next. So on March 29, there was a big hack. Blockchain project Ronin said on Tuesday that hackers stole cryptocurrency, now worth $615 million, from its systems, in what would be one of the largest cryptocurrency hacks on record. The project said that unidentified hackers aren't all hackers unidentified. On March 23rd, stole some 173,000 Ether tokens and 25 million USD coin tokens. At the current exchange rates, the stolen funds are worth $615 million. But they were only worth $540 million at the time of attack. Hold, diamond hands, even if you steal it. So Ronin is used to power the popular online game Axie Infinity, which uses NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and its biggest NFT collection by all-time sales volume according to the NFT market tracker, CryptoSlam. Ronin said in a blog post that the hacker had used stolen private keys, the password needed to access crypto funds to make off with the funds. Ronin said it discovered the hack and said, "We are working directly with various government agencies to ensure the criminals get brought to justice." Probably won't happen. And here's the interesting news that hit today. Crypto exchange Binance among investors to bail out victims of $615 million heist. Now, right there, love it. You're in this crypto game together. One of your associates, one of your friends, part of the family gets ripped off, which is bad for everybody in the universe of crypto. So, some of these companies are stepping forward and saying, have some money from us, make the people whole, and in return, the rest of us will survive this. Because if that goes down a hole of $615 million lost and people don't have their money or their NFTs and they're outraged, it's not going to kill you, it's going to kill us. Crypto exchange Binance is leading investors' contribution to a bailout of victims of a $615 million digital coin theft. The Vietnam-based company, Sky Mavis, which runs the game Axie Infinity, said last week it had been hit by one of the largest crypto heists on record, leaving users unable to withdraw their money from the game. And that is terrible. I mean, these are not rich people playing these games. They're, a lot of them, kids. Sky Mavis said it would reimburse the lost money through a combination of its own balance sheet and $150 million raised by investors including cryptocurrency exchange Binance and venture capital firm A16Z is how I'm pronouncing it, or A16Z. Sky Mavis is committed to reimbursing all of our users' lost funds and implementing rigorous internal security measures to prevent future attacks. Well, that's the way to do it. If you want to have a community, you want to have a network, you want to have people trust you, you have to come together and you have to help out your friends who get hit. You have to lift them up. And you know that in the future, if something happens to you, they will come to your aid and help you too. And we've sort of lost that sort of community integrity somewhere along the way. But I'm glad to see that the crypto community takes care of its own. And by default takes care of the rest of us who may have directly or indirectly been hacked by those terrible monsters. Well, I had a wonderful show today. Talked about my new chair. Set it up. Very heavy. 76 pounds. My pillow was still off. 76 pounds delivered. Oh, I'm going the wrong way, that's why. 76 pounds delivered. 150 pounds put together. We talked about the wonderful Noam Chomsky. Talked a little bit about Brexit. Talked about how copyright claims are used and abused on Twitch and YouTube. And we talked about crypto bailing itself out. If you have any questions or comments, you can find me, david@bowls.tv, in email. You can find me on Twitter, superfollow, now available, @DavidBowles. On Facebook, it's BOLES. Instagram, Bowles Books. YouTube, we are bowls.live, LIVE. And on the TikTok, we are just regular old Bowles TV. And if you're interested in playing around on our Discord server, here's the link. We have a vanity URL now. We have high definition audio now. And we have closed captions of this stream, live and in person. So until tomorrow, I hope you have a wonderful day, a good evening, a fanciful nap, and may you always awaken to sunshine and joy in your soul. I'll see you tomorrow.